twilight, these sisters discuss the paranormal and the unnerving. They are known as the ParaSisters.
Hey y'all, this is Rebecca.
And this is Tristan.
And you are watching the
and
ParaSisters.
You are watching ParaSisters.
Live!
Very live.
We're live right now. Like, literally anything can happen right now.
Yes.
It is Halloween. And I'm so happy.
It is Halloween. I am so excited because it is Halloween.
I love Halloween. Listen, Tristan and I kind of talked about this before, but look how good her costume is. Like, her makeup is so pretty and perfect. Her cleavage, is butt out. And I'm just, over here. I literally look like I'm a Puritan. I am a medieval maiden.
It's Halloween. You know what? I love your dress, though. It's so beautiful.
It can be anything you want on Halloween. This is Halloween time.
That's true.
That's right.
It's Halloween.
So I could be a medieval maiden.
Well, normally I would not show so much cleavage, but
it's okay. We're gonna get
Halloween.
We're gonna get the views with those babies. Dustin's gonna hate that.
We'll see.
We'll see. I know he's gonna hate it. Okay. Before we start, because we have a lot of stuff, some spooky stuff, some history stuff. That was right in my face. Did you see that? That literally scared the bejesus out of me. Mainly because he didn't warn me that he's gonna do it. I felt the heat. I think it singed my eyebrows. Alright. Alright, Tristan. You said you're drinking coffee. I feel actually like an alcoholic because before we start, I have this lovely Scatterbrain. It's peanut butter whiskey.
Ah, yum.
And I've decided that I'm going to do a little shot of this. And then I have this to complete my ensemble. This is...
That's very nice.
This is... I want to get the name right. This is Camelot Mead. So it's New World honey wine.
Ooh.
And I figured that if I'm drinking mead as a medieval princess, it's perfect, right?
I like it.
And apparently I'm going to get really drunk because that's a huge glass. Okay. Who cares? It's Halloween. And then, because it is Halloween, I have my bowl of candy.
Yes.
All right, well, before I start, I'm going to do this.
I need my bowl of candy, Jordan.
So,
all right, let's do it.
Here's to me, here's to you, and here's to Halloween, too, so.
Yes.
It's peanut buttery.
Where is my assistant?
Wench.
My assistant is disappeared.
Wench.
Wench. Jordan.
Ooh.
Mini Sassy.
She's a girl, Sassy. I don't know why I think all Sasquatch are boys, but...
Mini Sassy. I need my candy bowl, please. My candy bowl.
I'm assuming that, the love of paranormal and Harry Potter overlap, so I have my Marauders map. This is actually a wine glass.
It's Mini Fairy.
I love it. It's beautiful.
It's
My
huge.
name is Mini Fairy, not Mini Sassy.
What?
My candy bowl.
Listen, listen, if there was a comparison, which I can't think of right now, my brain is completely scattered, but I'm over here, I'm all lame-o with my over here.
You are not a lame-o. Not even close.
Listen, I'm like the freaking kindergarten version of Halloween, and you're like the the senior college version of Halloween.
Listen, okay, Halloween is
Oh,
my
gosh.
day. I absolutely love Halloween. I look forward all year to Halloween.
I also
I
love
start planning
Halloween.
my costume in like June.
That's
Like, I
not
start thinking about next Halloween, the date. Tomorrow, I'm going to be thinking about next
tomorrow.
Halloween. So,
Tomorrow you're gonna be like, this is next year. I wish I could do that, but I don't. So there you go. I barely think about the next
oh,
day usually. I'm like, I'm one of those people that's like, what day is it? I don't even know. Okay. So should we just jump right in?
I don't either. Yes, I think we should just jump right in.
Okay,
Let everybody know what we're going to be doing.
so we thought that it would be fun to do a sort of brief history of Halloween. And if you had seen me 20 minutes ago, I was literally crying my eyes out because I had done all this research and our computer crashed and all of my research got erased and it like broke my heart. So I quickly threw everything together and it's not as good as it was gonna be, but it's definitely shorter, so maybe that's better. I don't know. So I got the
Maybe.
yeah, I got the old history of Halloween, the origins of Halloween, if you will. And Tristan got like the newer Americanized, I guess, Halloween. So,
Yes.
Halloween or All Hallows Eve or All Hallows Evening, there or this is actually probably my favorite one, All Halloween. Or actually All Saints Eve. Any of those names apply because Halloween is a very old and actually sacred tradition, not just to the Christians, which it actually is now technically part of a Christian holiday, but it is, it has its roots in paganism, which some people don't. A lot of Christians. I think you both of us are Christians, but a lot of Christians would say that paganism is the devil. It's Satan, which I don't necessarily believe in.
Right.
Andrew and I were talking about this earlier, Nessie, and we were saying that you can't really blame people for believing certain things before they knew that Christ was their savior. So
I agree.
I can't blame people for thinking that they had several gods that controlled every single aspect of their life. That's not something I do. So,
Right.
of course, All Saints Eve, Halloween, is a celebration observed in many, many countries, and of course, October 31st. And it is the eve of the Western Christian feast of All Hallows Day. And it actually begins the observance of All Hallow Tide, which all these names, I think, Tristan, are so freaking cool. I'm like, I love them all. So, All Hallow Tide, All Saints Tide, or Hallowmas is a Western Christian season which encompasses the triduum of All Saints Eve, All Saints Day, and All Souls Day. And a triduum, if you don't know, is literally a Christian religious, I don't know the word, but it encompasses 3 days, and that's why these 3 days are the triduum of All Saints Eve, All Saints Day, and All Souls Day. So all,
Which is, I know that they practice that in New Orleans. They have All Saints Day and, stuff like that. So I know that they practice that there.
right, so All Saints Eve is basically you're getting warmed up. There's a feast usually, and you're getting in the spirit for All Saints Day, which is the day that people, Christians and or Catholics possibly, but they honor saints that are unknown and unknown. So any saints anywhere, that is the day that they're honored. And then All Souls Day, which is actually the day after Halloween, it's November 1st, and it is the day that we recognize and commemorate the souls that have gone over, the true believers that have now gone over to the other side. And it's, of course, I think it's the best known in the U.S. as the Day of the Dead, which comes from Mexico. That's Mexico's holiday. So now we're going to talk even older, because all those holidays come after Samhain, which is the Scottish or the Gaelic or Celtic festival, and it marks the end of their harvest season and the beginning of winter, or the darker half of the year. And it's held on November 1st, but it usually begins on October 31st, because the Celtic day began and ended at sunset. So they kind of start their revelries the day before their actual holiday, and that's what that is. So Samhain is believed to...
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So, are you okay over there? Are you having technical difficulties?
I am.
We are live, Tristan. You can't be doing that kind of stuff.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
Let me turn my amazing candles so we can see that it's bleeding. I love it.
That candle is very awesome, actually.
And it's blocked by the microphone, but I love it. Okay. So Samhain is believed to have Celtic pagan origins, and some Neolithic passage tombs in Ireland are actually aligned with the sunrise at the time of Samhain. So, like, what's that in England? Why can't I think of what it's called? The rocks. What are those called?
Stonehenge?
Yes, thank you. So I think they would be like Stonehenge, and but they're obviously in Ireland. They're
right.
They're aligned for the sunrise at Samhain. And so it's first mentioned earliest in Irish literature from about the 9th century, and it's associated with lots of important events in Irish mythology, but I don't know any of them, of course, because I didn't even look them up before, honestly. So, early literature does say that Samhain was marked by great gatherings and feasts, and I think this is actually where a lot of the modern lore comes from, that it actually, they say it's when the ancient burial grounds were open and seen as portals to the other world. And, right, and some literature even associates Samhain with bonfires and sacrifices, because of course pagans for some reason like to sacrifice people. I'm not really sure why, but that's what they did, and I guess it is what it is.
That's what they do.
Yeah, so maybe I have it down here. I think I do. So the festival of Samhain didn't really begin to be recorded in detail until the early modern era, and so that's when like Christian monks started writing everything down. Like, that's what they would do. But it was thought that when cattle were brought down from the summer pastures and livestock were slaughtered, this is basically, fall. It's autumn. It's right before winter. So that's what they're doing. They're getting everything ready for winter. And I don't know if you've heard of Beltane. I can't pronounce it.
Yes,
I should have looked
I
up.
have.
Yeah. So that is the Gaelic or Celtic May Day. So that's like the beginning of spring. But they shared this coincidence, I guess, of where they would light bonfires. And the bonfires were thought to be protective and have cleansing powers. And they actually did rituals around these bonfires and including these bonfires. So Beltane and Samhain are known as liminal or threshold festivals, and again, that's when the boundaries between this world and the other world are the thinnest. And they actually believed that the Ishi, I did look this up, but they're spirits or fairies, and apparently they believe that these Ishis came to the world during like Samhain time, and a lot of people actually think that these are remnants of pagan gods, but who really knows, of course. So
I mean, it is the Celts. So
yeah, exactly. So they were drinking a lot, but no, I don't know. This meat is delicious, by the way, I have to say.
Ooh, I want some right now.
It tastes like grape juice. It's very interesting.
Does it?
Yeah, like white grape juice.
Yum. I love grape juice.
I know, so do I, especially white grape juice. So at Samhain, they try to appease these spirits with offerings of food and drink. And they thought that if they appease these spirits, then their people and their livestock would survive the winter. And I think also it tied into their next year's harvest. And I think I read somewhere that they actually would leave some of their harvest out for these spirits so that they can have like further like, like offerings for them. So,
right.
Maybe it worked. Who knows? Like, that would be
maybe
crazy.
It did.
That'd be crazy if it worked. We don't know, right? So at this time, the souls of the dead were also thought to revisit their homes, seeking hospitality, and apparently they would set places at the table and in front of the fire for when their souls would come to visit. They would still have their place in the house to eat or relax by the fire, which I actually think is really cool. And that ties in a lot to me with the Day of the Dead, because I don't know if you know a lot about Day of the Dead, but they also do like similar vigils and things like that. Like they usually have like a display of all their past ancestors, and they put food on there and offer things like that to them for when they come back into this world. So
I did know about the altar. Like they make like an altar to their dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they on the Day of the Dead. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I have seen that movie.
So is that what's it called? Oh, maybe we can't say. I don't know if we can say, honestly.
Probably not, because it's going to be copyrighted.
It's a Disney movie. Oh, I remember. It just popped in my head. It's
very good.
It's chocolate. Anyway.
Yes.
So at these times, I don't know if it was just kids, and then also the poor would go around and they would do mumming and guising. So guising is pretty easy to figure out. That's, they would dress up actually as these fairies or spirits, and they would go around, and mumming was actually, I'll explain that too, but they would go around and knock on doors, and they would recite verses in exchange for food. So they would go and tell you verses from the Bible, most likely, or even though I guess this was before the Bible, so it would have been verses of their pagan gods, I guess. I don't really know. I have no idea.
Right. I don't know either. So trick-or-treating.
Yes, exactly. And they're actually, I didn't get a chance to put it in here because all my stuff got erased, but there are these things, and I really want to make them, and they're called soul cakes, and they are like, it's like a sweet biscuit, and that is what they would actually give out to the kids and the poor when they would come to the houses in guises. So they would hand out these soul cakes, and they're like literally to represent the souls of like their departed loved ones. So I thought that was really cool.
That is very cool.
So
are they like sweet cakes, or are they more like a bread?
So I think that they are, in my mind, I feel like they're more bread-like because they have a lot of spices. Like, it reminds me of a gingerbread, actually. So, like, spices, there's a lot of spices, and then there's, like, raisins or fruit in them. So they're sweet, and I imagine they're fairly dense. So I think it'd be more like a bread than anything. So that's what I picture it as. So mumming, I had to look this up because I'd never heard of it. Guising I've heard of, but mumming I've never heard of before. And this is literally like, it's like a street play. Like, these people would dress up in costumes, and usually the play would involve like two combatants, like people fighting with each other, and one would be injured. And as soon as they're injured, a doctor would like rush on stage and revive them. And I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to represent, but I think it's funny that they like go around doing these plays, you know? So, but that's mumming.
I like that though.
I think it's really cool.
I like that.
Like, yes.
It is very cool.
And so yeah, so that's pretty much the, you know, I don't know. I feel like I had more before, but I can't really remember everything. But, you know, they do think that the costumes were a way of imitating and disguising themselves from the Ishis, the spirits, which, I don't know. It's weird that they would offer so many things to things that they're afraid of. Because I couldn't really find out, like, what Ishis do to you, or, like, they're just, like, bad luck. I'm not really sure, but they're scary to people.
I think that I read somewhere when I was looking up the history of Halloween,
Right.
that they could actually harm you in some way or cause you like strife through the year.
Yeah, I
Somehow.
guess that makes
I don't
sense why
know.
they thought if they offered them food and stuff that they would make sure that their livestock and their family were going to be okay through the winter. So, I mean, that's I
Right.
don't know. So that's pretty much the
Huh.
the history
I like it though.
of Samhain and the Christian Triduum of All Saints Day, which I actually like the idea of celebrating like that the All Saints Day and all that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I feel like I'm gonna start celebrating it though.
No, I like it. I think it's really neat because you should always like know the history and the traditions of a certain thing that you're,
Well,
that you
yes.
want to celebrate or
Especially
do
if
or
like
that you even like.
you really like it, you know, like scared this candle's gonna fall over and start our
Uh-oh.
house.
Video
on
went
fire.
out.
Oh shit! I did it, man.
You did it. You got your video knocked out.
1 second. Let me see if I can fix it. Okay, let me. And... Oh, okay. Let's see if it comes back on.
There we
Okay.
go. Video.
Whoopsie. Okay. The thing
So
is,
now that you, huh?
oh, the thing is super loose, so I knocked it on accident. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. So now that you've done the origin history of Samhain or Halloween, All Hallows Eve, Saints Day, or Saints Day Eve.
Yes, we are on in Saints.
So now that you've done it,
Is it Eve? I don't know what day it is. I have no
we
idea
are gonna
what's going on.
go. I don't either. So now we're gonna. Halloween comes to America, so we're gonna bring it to America. It's gonna. What?
I did forget that, because you're gonna talk about like America, but I did forget that they, dang, I had a whole thing. I'm so sad. So they used to, jack-o'-lanterns. They used to carry jack-o'-lanterns around as a way to ward off evil spirits. However, they were not pumpkins. They were carved out of turnips. Only did
Oh yes, I knew that.
yeah. So only
I thought that was neat.
in America did they start using pumpkins. So I'll let you go now.
I don't think in my stuff here that I have the reason why they switched to pumpkins.
Oh, I do know why. So if you don't have it, I'll tell. But we'll wait.
If I don't have it, I don't think that I put it in here. I would have read that. So when we get to that part, then
yeah,
you can
I'll
chime
tell you.
in and tell me the reason why
Yes. Okay.
we switched to pumpkins. If I didn't put it in here,
Yeah, you might have. You
Okay.
just don't remember. So.
probably. So okay, Halloween comes to America. So the celebration of Halloween was at the time extremely limited to the colonial New England because of their rigid, really tough Protestant belief system.
Right.
Um, I mean, crazy.
Yes.
So Halloween was very, very common in like Maryland and in the southern colonies. So more like toward Virginia and Maryland,
Yes.
Maine and stuff. They weren't Massachusetts. They were not as into Halloween. So like it was very limited to where it was even
Right.
where they even practiced it. As the beliefs and the customs different, or I'm sorry, as the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups and the American Indians meshed, uh, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to come out. So we took like everything from Europe and then we merged it with the Native American things
Oh,
and we
cool.
came up with our whole new Halloween.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Which is, it's not exactly like how we celebrate Halloween today, but it's pretty close.
Right.
Um, so the first, like, say, Halloween parties or celebrations included play parties, which were public events, and they were held to celebrate the harvest. So after the harvest, they would have like a huge party, and neighbors would come, like the whole community would get together, and they would share stories of the dead and tell each other's fortune and dance and sing. So that was like the first Halloween parties.
Right.
Um, sorry, I had to take that one ear out. It's hurting my ear.
That's
Um,
weird.
so then, colonial Halloween festivities also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief making, hence where we get the trick part of trick or treat.
Yes.
Um, and they would make mischief of all kinds. And it was like, it was done in good fun. So it wasn't like bad mischief.
Oh, so that's really
Um,
similar then to like back in the day, there was a lot of pranking going on. So it'd be trick or treat, and if you don't give me a treat, then you get a trick. And it was all nice and good spirited, but okay, so even back then during like Samhain, they did that too. So
yeah, it was just kind of like fun mischief, like TP in somebody's house.
right, yes,
It was just fun. Um,
yes,
by the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivals were very common. But Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. So they had very common harvest festivals, let's say, that they held in the fall, but not everybody was celebrating Halloween because up north, they were very, very religious and they believed because it's a pagan holiday, its roots are pagan, that it was from the devil.
yep, hmm,
Um, in the second half of the 19th century, though, America was flooded with new immigrants. So tons of immigrants came, um, especially like literally millions of Irish people.
hmm,
So they were fleeing because of the Irish potato famine.
those damn
So
potatoes.
those damn potatoes, they just wouldn't grow.
They
Um,
almost, yeah, potatoes almost took out an entire culture of people.
I know, for real, it did. That was
It's
insane.
crazy.
And by them coming to the new country, they helped popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Because not only did they go to the North colonies, but all the way down to the South colonies, they were all over the place.
Right.
So they helped to popularize Halloween. Um, and of course, with them, they brought their beliefs and their version of Halloween with them. So now we have the Protestant people who don't believe in Halloween at all. Then we have the ones that do. Now we've meshed it with the European ethnic groups and the Native Americans, and now we have a ton of Irish here.
Right.
So it's Halloween's getting great, man. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is bring in the Irish.
Yep.
Irish make everything great. Um, so borrowing from the European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house and ask for food or money. A
Mm.
practice that eventually became today's trick or treat tradition. Where now we don't really
Dude,
ask for money. We
I
just
want to ask for money.
We're like, I'm holding to the old ways. Give me some money, damn
Yeah,
it.
man, show me the money.
You're like, I practice traditional Halloween. I'm gonna need some cash.
I need that money, please. I'll take coins also. That's fine. I just need money.
You know what? If you don't have gold or you don't have coins, you don't have dollars, I'll take your gold and silver. We'll be square.
I like those earrings. What are those? What's that ring? What's that ring on your finger? Is that? That's awful.
That is awful. So it became the new it became the today's version. It became the version of today's trick-or-treating. Also, young women believed that on Halloween, they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors.
Dude, is that like those games with the strings that you play? Do you think that's where that came from? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It probably did.
Like cat.
I don't, but
cradle,
I know that there's a lot of games like that.
Fingers.
Oh, the cat in the cradle. Yes. I bet you it is. Yep.
That
I
makes
bet you
sense.
it is. In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday to be more about community and neighborly get-togethers,
right,
than about ghosts and pranks and witchcraft. So they tried to make it more like how the Protestants want it, where they just have like a harvest festival where neighbors get together and stuff like that.
right.
At the turn of this, so like I would just get together and stuff. At the turn of the century, so the early 1900s, at the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, food, and foods of the season and festive costumes. So, hence the Halloween party.
That's kind of cool.
And at this point, though, it doesn't, I couldn't find anywhere. I don't think it's actually called Halloween yet.
I wonder what they called it. I wonder if they
I don't
still
think that
call
comes
it
until a little
like
later.
All Hallows Eve, because there was, there's some debate whether the Celtic like culture morphed like Samhain into the modern Christian version of Halloween, or if the Christians came in and influenced the festival of Samhain, So there's not they don't know exactly which is which. So that's interesting. I wonder what it was here.
I don't know. You know what? Honestly, it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, totally. I mean, well, especially if you have Irish coming in at the turn of the century or even a little bit before, I'm assuming that they still would have, back then Irish were Catholics mostly. Well, except for that Northern Ireland. Anyway, they.
I'm not sure. I mean,
yeah, I wonder if they did Samhain.
When we get into it.
It'll be interesting. I don't know.
Well, see, they're already trick-or-treating. You know what I mean? That is definitely an Irish Celtic influence on Halloween to begin with, And they're dressing in costumes.
Which is also Celtic and Irish.
Very. Right. So, I don't know. Well, we'll read on and we'll find out what happens.
Yes, I guess so. Maybe I should shut my dang mouth.
No, I like the questions because it makes me think. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of Halloween celebrations.
What?
Which I do not agree with.
No, that's dumb.
Don't agree with it.
The scarier, the better. Maybe
and
not.
Then you got some asshole like me, like in the corner, like, let's put up more skeletons.
Like, we need a real dead guy. Where's Howard? He died last week. Get him in here. That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh, I'm sober, I swear.
Yeah, but I'm that asshole on the block that's like got all the ghosts and goblins on the yard.
You're like, this
because of these efforts, Halloween lost Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. So that makes me very, very sad.
That is sad because I mean the whole point of Halloween or All Saints Day or All Hallows Eve. I mean, it's it's all religious, no matter which way. Even if it's pagan or if it's Christian, it's all really rooted in a deep belief in something greater than yourself. So it's kind of
Right.
sad.
I agree. I don't. I think that when you have a tradition, as like Halloween is very commercialized now, but I love Halloween. It is the best day of the year for me. Like, this is my day. I took the day off of work because I'm like, it's Halloween. It's my damn day. You know what I mean?
Like
And I
this is
kind
my
of like to
birthday
keep
practically.
it. I mean, literally, yes. I wish my birthday was Halloween. It would be the best day in the
Me
whole world.
freaking too. I really do
What
wish
if we were
that.
twins back and we're both born on Halloween? That would be crazy as shit.
That would be awesome. Even though our Facebook page does technically say that we were born on Halloween, so I expect a happy birthday.
Yes, it does. Because in our hearts, we were born on Halloween.
That's right. I was only, I'm literally 2 weeks shy of being born on Halloween. So,
14 days. I know. Or actually 15 days, but
well, yeah, but still, it's in my blood.
it is in your blood. Okay, so by the 1920s and 30s, Halloween had become a secular but community-centered holiday with parades and town-wide Halloween parties as the featured entertainment. So they still did, Halloween stuff.
Yeah,
Despite the best efforts of many schools and communities, vandalism began to plague some celebrations in many communities during this time.
of
Because people are
course.
pissed off you're trying to ruin Halloween. That's why.
They're like, we don't want to have a
That,
Mickey Mouse. We want a skeleton.
that's what be happening to me. I'd be pissed off. I'm like, that's it. I'm egging your damn place. Break your windows.
Yelp, eggs.
Ruin Halloween for me. By the 1950s, town leaders had successfully limited vandalism in Halloween, had evolved into a holiday directed mainly at the young, which I see that.
Yeah.
Uh, Due to the high numbers of young children during the 50s baby boom, parties moved from town civic centers into the classroom or the home where they could be more easily accommodated.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
Eh, I think that they should have town Halloween parties. How cool would that be? Although
Dude.
I don't know.
I mean, so it's even still, I think a lot of places do try to keep that alive with like a lot of churches will do like Halloween, like trunk or treating now, or even like I don't know, I haven't been to one in years, but you used to be able to like go to a church, and I know a lot of churches still do them, and they do like really tame like haunted houses and things like that, like
Yes.
which
I
is
know, yeah.
yeah.
I Our church out here used to do stuff like that. Um but yeah, I we've been to a couple of the church ones they're actually very neat.
I like them.
So,
I like the spirit of it. I mean, people you don't know are coming together and you're doing Halloween stuff. I like it.
yes, I do too. Between the 1920s and the 1950s, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating was also revived. Trick-or-treating was a relatively inexpensive way for the entire community to share in the Halloween celebration. In theory, families could also prevent tricks from being played on them by providing the neighborhood children with small treats.
Give them the treats.
Yeah, like you said, it would, if you didn't get a treat, you would get a trick,
Uh huh. Yep.
Thus, a new American tradition was born and it continued to grow. Today, Americans spend an estimated $6 billion
On
annually
candy.
on Halloween, making it the country's second largest commercial holiday after
After
Christmas.
Christmas. Oh my $6 billion.
Yeah, like I said, that it's been very commercialized.
Dude, that would buy me so much chocolate.
Right, you would think that like Valentine's Day or something like that would be, but
Blah. Valentine's
yeah,
Day
people
is crap.
spend $6 billion a year annually on Halloween. And I know that even just this year, I have spent hundreds of dollars on Halloween. That doesn't even include the $100 in Halloween candy that I bought.
Dude, I have also spent quite a bit of money on costumes. And I was upset that I spent like $35 at the dollar store on decorations, and I didn't even put them up. Because I never had
you have them for next year.
I never had the damn time. That's right. And then I can add to them, and next year I won't have to spend so much money and be very upset. So
that's right, you have them. No,
that's a plus. Yes.
Speaking of, I thought I just heard somebody walking behind me. That was creepy.
Yes.
Speaking of, it's kind of chilly in my house. So, like, I live in Nevada, and it has been so mild here that my front door is actually open.
Oh. I'm like, it's freezing damn cold here.
I think my back door is still open, too, actually.
Aren't you afraid of bugs coming in?
No, I have screen doors.
Oh, okay.
Silly.
So I'm like,
I would
never open my front door.
Oh, yeah. No, the only bugs that we have to worry about are moths.
Oh, yeah.
It's too cold for everything else. All the desert-dwelling bugs have gone to ground because it's cold. At night it is, anyway.
Cold to Tristan is 60 degrees. Just kidding.
What?
I said cold to Tristan is 60 degrees. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not.
Because I don't know
It's beautiful, but it's chilly. Like, my feet are cold because I don't have shoes on, and my floor is wood.
Oh, what's
so
the
there's,
temperature
like, cool
there?
air blowing. I honestly don't know. Let's look it up.
It is 44 degrees outside here right
Let's
now.
see. Let's open the Weather Channel app and find out what it is. It is 58 degrees.
Oh, so it's not even that much warmer than it is here. Like I said, 44 here.
Yeah, but our low is only going to be 50, though. So what's your guys' low going to be, like 30?
It was pretty warm today, so it'll probably be closer to probably like 35. 35, probably.
I mean, Milky Way. Anyway, speaking of commercial success, scary Halloween movies have a long history of being box office hits.
Yes.
Classic Halloween movies include the Halloween franchise, which is awesome.
Michael Myers.
Yes.
He's behind.
I'm not gonna get into everybody knows what Halloween is about. Halloween inspired 11 other films in the franchise and other slasher films like Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all freaking great movies. Although I have to say, Nightmare on Elm Street, watching it when I was a kid would scare the shit out of me.
Yes.
And now it is so fucking hilarious.
Dude, it's so weird because I was thinking of that exact same thing earlier. I was like, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Freddy Krueger. I think he's one of like the all-time greatest like villains ever. But I was thinking about like, we probably shouldn't have watched that when we were kids, but our parents were very lax with the movies that we watched. So I remember seeing that, and I was extremely young, and I remember like it terrifying me to the depths of my soul. And then now I haven't even seen it for years, but I'm like, I can pretty much remember all the scary scenes in my head, and probably it's like engraved in there from when I was a kid, you know. But like, I always think of Johnny Depp, and he's like the first person to die in that movie. And of course it's the famous waterbed scene where he falls asleep on the waterbed, and he's like, but it's so lame. Like, now that I think about it, the whole thing is just so lame. Lame,
It is lame. I know.
but classic and great. You know what movie actually still I think would scare me is Friday the 13th, because it's not so much like gory slasher, it's more of like
The
that,
jump scares.
yeah, like that panicky, like terror, like is he around the corner feeling, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the same with Halloween. Like I think
Right.
it's really similar to Halloween. Like
I agree. Yes. But then they have like more family friendly movies that are like Hocus Pocus, my personal
I
favorite.
love Hocus
Watched it last night.
Dude, I'm gonna watch that one more time.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I love that one too. Um, Beetlejuice, which honestly, Beetlejuice is not necessarily a children's movie. Have you watched that
Um,
movie recently?
it is not a children's movie. Some of the like things that they say, and then it is like so twisted in a way that like I don't think kids should ever watch that. Again, that's one of those movies that I saw when I was pretty young, and I probably shouldn't have. Like,
You know what is hilarious is Jordan loves that movie.
I Beetlejuice is probably one of my all-time favorite like ever movies. I just love it so much. Like I love Gina
I do
Davis.
too.
I freaking love Michael Keaton. He's one of my favorite actors. Like I love that
Mine
movie.
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman, yeah, you can't forget. But like
Yeah.
the whole cast, I'm like Catherine O'Hara, like I don't know, the famous Deo scene is like top top
Yes.
5 favorite movie scenes of all time. It's like,
Yes. So all of that stuff came from Halloween, like what they had turned it into,
right.
a commercialized, just kind of, I don't know, I don't even know how to put that. It kind of like takes it out of Halloween, which the scary movies I think brings Halloween back to the way it's supposed to be, like just that scary day.
Yes. The
Um,
scare factor.
so we're gonna jump back into All Souls Day and soul cakes because I honestly I didn't read a whole lot about the soul cakes,
Yes.
but I wasn't sure exactly what they were. Um, so the American Halloween tradition of trick or treating probably dates back to All Souls Day, like
Right.
you had talked about, where they went and they gave out the or they went trick or treating, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah, the
And
trick or treating, yeah.
and then the distribution of the soul cakes, and they would be given the soul cakes. Um, I don't know if you had said this, but it was actually referred to, the practice is actually referred to going a souling.
Yes, I did read that, but I didn't say it. That's funny.
I know, I
Yes.
like that.
Dude,
So
I'm
next
gonna
year I'm gonna
start
like make my kids be like, I'm going a souling.
going souling. Dude, I want to actually start making soul cakes for Halloween and
Yes.
hand them out to kids. Although I think parents,
Yes,
like,
but I don't know if parents would let them eat them.
I was just gonna say, like, personally, if somebody handed Callum, like, a homemade baked thing, I'd be like, no. But,
Right.
I don't know, that makes me kind of sad. Maybe to, like, my neighbors or something, I don't know, but whatever.
I know. Well, see, what is so sad is like, okay, that whole thing got started because a kid was poisoned with candy,
Yeah.
but it was his own dad for
That's fucked up.
insurance money. Right. So, like, they ruined it for everybody. Because remember, our parents would be like, oh, I got to check all the candy, which we know that was code for I'm going to steal most of your shit.
Yes. Dude, I was just talking to people at work
Piss me
about
off.
the parental Halloween tax. And neither of the people I were talking to have kids, so they don't understand the tax that parents get to excise on their children at Halloween time.
Parent tax.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Sassy has dad tax.
Well, I have,
So, like,
this is my Halloween candy tax right here. So,
well, it's so funny. Like, the kids will make, like, a big-ass sandwich or something, and they'll come and be like, look at this, Pops, right? Because that's what they call him. And then, like, he'll pick it up, and he'll be looking at it and be like, oh, and he's like, dad tax.
That's funny because this is what I say to Cal. I'm like, oh, checking if it's poisoned. And then he'll be like, he was so cute because he used to be like, is it okay? And I'd be like, let me try again. Let me make sure. Oh,
Like, no, this whole thing is bad.
No, it's no good. I got it. Don't worry. It's okay.
I'm going to take care of this for you.
That's terrible. Oh, man.
That's awful.
I know. I'm a terrible mother.
Don't none of you guys act like you ain't ever done it.
Exactly. Don't be like high and mighty. Like, I can't believe this bitch over here. She's eating her kid's food.
Yeah, we know you did it.
You all did it. Trust me. Maybe you didn't say I'm checking for poison, but...
That macaroni and cheese doesn't look that good. Maybe I should try it for you.
Listen, Nessie does he'll like take something and he'll be like, Callum will be like, oh, is it good? And he'll be like, no, it's terrible. And then he'll like eat it. Like,
yes.
You won't like it. Trust me.
I have seen Sassy do the same thing.
That's terrible.
And he's like, this is bad.
This is no good.
So the tradition of dressing in costumes is both a European and a Celtic, has European and Celtic roots. So actually both, because I know that you had talked about how the Celtics used to dress in costume to scare away the evil fairy spirits that would,
yeah,
try to attach or whatever. So hundreds of years ago, winter was an uncertain and very frightening time.
Yes.
Food supplies were often really low, and for many people afraid of the dark, the short days of winter were full of constant worry.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So,
like if you didn't get enough food with your crops, or like you didn't have enough meat cured, like you're fucked, man. You are seriously fucked. Like you're eating bannock for 6 months straight. Which, if people don't know what that is,
I don't even like the sound of that word.
Well, it's funny because they actually don't, like, if you think about what it is, they're oatcakes. So it's not like, it's not hideous, but I probably wouldn't want to eat them for 6 months.
Yeah, but if you eat it for 4 months straight, I think it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, like, they didn't eat them, like, sweet, like you would imagine. They were eaten with, like, salt. They were like a savory food. Yeah, they were like a savory food.
It'd be like llama's bread.
Yes.
At the end of Lord of the Rings.
It almost is. Although I really want to try llama's bread, but I know it doesn't exist, but...
Right? No, you can actually find a recipe for it.
Because they describe it, like in the books especially, how it's like really sweet and delicious, and it's super filling. So I feel like that's like the perfect food almost. Like...
They actually have a recipe for it. I've seen it.
Dang, I'm going to make some. That's right.
I know, because I actually think that it would be good. Like, I want some elven bread.
Dude, I wish I was an elf.
Because
I wish I could do
Halloween
everything
and
elvish.
encompass. Me too. Wouldn't that be great?
I'm going to learn how to speak Elvish. I'm going to teach myself.
Yes. I know somebody who, I don't know them personally, but I've read of somebody who actually speaks Elvish.
Listen, this is
like as fun, like for fun.
This is totally off track, okay? But I was watching this thing once, way back when Lord of the Rings first came out, and I think it was like right before the release of The Two Towers. And there was this little girl being interviewed on something, I don't know what it was. She could literally like hold a conversation in Elvish, and she was probably like 11 years old. Like, she was so young.
That's awesome.
She's like over there saying all these things, and I'm like, I hate this little bitch. Like, I hate her because I'm jealous of her.
I want to be her.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how she learned it. Like, it's crazy. Like, I feel bad that I called the little kid a little bitch, but that's what it is. So.
Oh,
I
it's
don't care.
okay.
I don't care what you think of me.
So on Halloween, when it was believed that the ghost could come back to the earthly world because the veil is the thinnest, people thought that they would encounter ghosts if they left their homes. So if they had to leave their homes to avoid being recognized by these ghosts, people would wear masks when they left their homes after dark, so the ghosts would mistake them for fellow spirits.
Yes. That's awesome.
And I think that's more European.
They did
like
actually.
early.
I did read somewhere that they were afraid to go out after dark. So if they had to go anywhere, they dressed in costumes. That's funny.
Which I find fantastic. I am afraid to leave my house every single day, even during the daytime. I think I'm just going to start wearing a costume.
Luckily, we just get to walk around with masks now, so you're good.
Right.
We're all the same.
On Halloween, to keep ghosts away from their houses, people would place bowls of food outside their homes to appease the ghosts and prevent them from attempting to enter.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was cool too. So Halloween has always been a holiday filled with mystery and magic and superstition. It began as the Celtic end of summer festival in which people felt especially close to their deceased relatives and friends.
Yes.
For these friendly spirits, they would set places at the dinner table, kind of like Day of the Dead. Left treats on doorsteps along the side of the road, and lit candles to help loved ones find their way back to the spirit world.
I'm sorry, you said along
or help them find their way to.
You said along the side of the road. I just left
Yeah, so they would actually leave treats like along the side of the road.
Well, throw that loaf of bread out for Aunt Sally. There you go. All right. Anywho.
We don't need that apple. It's wintertime. What are you talking about?
Chuck it. It's going. Grandpa
hey,
love
man,
it.
they gotta eat too, all right? It's wintertime.
It's weird because when I think of dead people, I think of I don't know how much you like Harry Potter, but I
do like Harry Potter.
I'm completely
Not as big as you are,
obsessed with Harry Potter, which is sad because I'm a 34-year-old woman and I love Harry Potter. To be fair, though, I grew up with Harry Potter, so I feel like when he would go to a next year, like I was almost the same age as him. But anyway, in the books, well, in the movies even, they have the Death Day party, and the dead people open their mouths and like go through the table of food. But the food is like really rotten and really bad so that they can have even like a taste of it. That's the only way they could taste it. And so always now when I think of dead people eating, I think of that for some reason.
That's really creepy.
Although I used to think of that scene in Casper. I don't know if you remember.
Yes,
when they're at and it's like falling out of the bottom of them. That is what I used to think of. Which is hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I know, I'm insane.
Today's Halloween ghosts are often depicted as fearsome and malevolent. And our customs and superstitions are scarier too. So, like, our new Halloween stuff is way scarier than it used to be.
Yeah.
We avoid crossing paths with black cats, which I do not because I happen to own a black cat. I love black cats. I think
love
they're beautiful.
Black cats also. I think they're gorgeous. If I had a cat, it'd be black.
They are gorgeous.
I want a panther.
Yes,
does that
because
count?
black cats are the best. They're afraid that they might bring us bad luck when traditionally, but black cats, I didn't even write this down, but this pisses me off. Traditionally, black cats are actually thought to bring good luck.
Actually, in a lot of other cultures, they still do consider black cats as good luck.
Right, like sailors a wife would keep a black cat at home, and the captain of the ship would bring a black cat with him because it meant to them that they were going to have good tides.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it pisses me off that people actually are very mean to black cats on Halloween. It really, really makes me mad.
It's weird because black cats are the least and last adopted cats, like in shelters and things. Which is messed
I would
up.
adopt all of them.
Because they're beautiful.
I know. They are beautiful, and black cats have a personality like no other cat. It's whatever makes them black also like alters their personality, and they like. I know that Bagheera is such an asshole. She is the most assholish cat in the world, man. But she is also the sweetest, most loving cat.
That's
But
awesome.
she is a straight up dick. I'm gonna tell you, she's a straight up dick.
She's a bitch.
So, one of the reasons why black cats have such a prevalence in our Halloween tradition now is, for one, a pope, and I can't remember which one it was. He actually had all the cats exterminated in in Europe. And for one of the reasons why the Black Plague was so bad in Europe is because they exterminated all the cats and they had nothing to kill the rats. So, haha to you, you stupid MFer. That's what you get. Also, because it's rooted in the Middle Ages, when this Pope decided he was going to kill the black cats because he believed that they were associated with witches. So,
bastards.
Many people then believed that the witches avoided detection by turning themselves into black cats.
Oh.
Which is just complete and utter nonsense.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's true, but I don't know.
So, and then like we have other superstitions, like we don't walk under ladders because it causes bad luck. For a lot of people know these superstitions. That superstition actually came from the ancient Egyptians.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
who
that.
believed that triangles were sacred.
Oh, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So they believed that you couldn't walk through a triangle because it was sacred.
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, it also may have something to do with the fact that walking under a ladder tends to be fairly unsafe.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid, isn't it? Like, I'm gonna walk under a ladder. You could fall on me.
Right. And people they're so silly when it comes to their superstition because they're like, they also, around Halloween time, especially today, because today is an awesome day, around Halloween time, they try to avoid breaking mirrors, stepping on cracks in the road, or spilling salt because they think that because it's so close to that time of year when the veil is so thin.
Oh, interesting. Spilling salt. Of course, I've heard if you spill salt, you just throw some over your left shoulder.
Yeah, like in Dumb and Dumber. Kick his ass, Seabass.
Oh. He like throws a whole salt shaker. I'm just like...
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I'm going to get into some of the like Halloween, some of their lesser known rituals and matchmaking.
Matchmaking?
This is funny part. So these are Halloween traditions and beliefs that today's trick-or-treaters and Halloween aficionados have forgotten all about. Many of these are obsolete rituals.
Right.
Many of these obsolete rituals that they no longer practice focus on the future instead of the past. And it focused on the living instead of the dead. In particular, many had to do with helping young women identify their future husbands, like I had mentioned previously.
Right.
And reassuring them that they would someday, with luck, by the next Halloween, be married. In the 18th century Ireland, a matchmaking cook would bury a ring in her mashed potatoes on Halloween night, hoping to bring true love to the diner who found it. So she would actually like make the mashed potatoes and put a ring in it, and then like serve it the next day on Halloween.
What?
And the whoever found it was said to have like going to be married. In Scotland, fortune tellers recommended that an eligible young woman name a hazelnut for each one of her suitors, and then toss the nuts into a fireplace. The nut that burned to ashes rather than popping or exploding, the story went, represented the girl's future husband.
Oh.
Um, yeah, in some versions of this legend, the opposite was true. The nut that burned always symbolized a love that would not last.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Another tale said that if a young woman ate a sugar concoction made of walnuts, hazelnuts, and nutmeg before bed on Halloween night, she would dream of her future husband.
Hazelnuts, walnuts, and nutmeg?
Yeah, walnuts, hazelnuts, and nutmeg.
Interesting.
Yes. Another one is young women tossed apple peels over their shoulders, hoping that the peels would fall on the floor in the shape of their future husband's initials. They tried to learn about their futures by peering at egg yolks floating in bowls of water,
Yeah, okay.
and stood in front of mirrors in darkened rooms holding candles and looking over their shoulder for their husbands' faces, which I would not do because that is creepy AF.
I think that's called scrying, and it's funny because I actually read that they did all that back in the day too. So that's like Celtic.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that's like has Celtic origins also, which is awesome.
Nice. Yeah, but that's kind of creepy. I would not hold a candle in a mirror in a dark room.
Like, could you imagine? Like, is that my husband or is that a dead guy?
Or is that Bloody Mary? I don't know.
Exactly. Who is this? I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious. So other rituals were more competitive. At some Halloween parties, the first guest to find a burr on, I don't know exactly what that means, a burr on a chestnut would be the first to marry. At others, the first successful apple bopper would be the first down the aisle.
So a burr, like one of those sticker things that you find in the bottom of your shoe, is that what a burr is?
I'm assuming that's what they were talking about, but
right,
I don't know exactly.
You don't collect chestnuts until they fall off the tree, right? So if it fell on the ground and got a burr, I wonder if that's what they mean.
Maybe. I'm not sure. It's very odd. And the other one is apple bobbing. The first one to get an apple would be the first to walk down the aisle.
That's cool.
Of course, whether you're asking for romantic advice or trying to avoid 7 years of bad luck, each one of these Halloween superstitions relies on the goodwill of the very same spirits whose presence the early Celts felt so keenly.
Right. The ones that they were afraid of, but now they really rely on them for everything, which they did back then, so.
Right, and that brings us to Halloween as we know it, and we've known it for the last, 60, 70 years. Where it's pretty much just the same thing. Things have gotten a little scarier, things have gotten a little better. Poisoning candy is not a real thing. Just a PSA right there.
Although,
so
can I just point out
kids
that
have their candy.
Callum watched a YouTube video of actual news stories of people that would put things inside of candy, like razor blades, nails, needles. Like, so I'm not saying that happens all the time, because I think that 99.9% of the time, people that hand out candy are actually normal people. But there is that 0.1% of actual fucking nut jobs out there that will hurt a kid for no reason. So even still, check your kids' candy. Let them have it, but make sure you check it over. Like,
yeah,
be responsible.
Only because that's smart, but you know what I'm saying. But just
dude, I think that people have gotten way so overprotective. Like, I am what they call a helicopter parent. I'm always hovering over Callum. Like, I am always like, "Are you okay?" But I do let him try to be a kid sometimes. So I think we need to go back to where kids were kids and it's okay to be a kid. So
I agree. Sorry, I have to take that thing off because it is killing me.
Mm-hmm. That's always my fear of wearing a
It's killing
corset
me, Becca.
because
I was.
I'm not thin enough
I was wearing a corset.
for a corset to be comfortable unless I'm standing. And yeah.
Well, I made it through like an hour, but I did put it on earlier, you know.
Yeah.
But it was becoming extremely uncomfortable.
Well, it is what it is. It's cool.
I love it though. It's so damn cute.
I know it's super cute. It's crazy that you find such cute things at the thrift stores.
I love the thrift store, especially for Halloween stuff.
Who doesn't love the thrift store?
This hat, which I absolutely adore, was like $3 at Goodwill, and it was brand new. It still had the tags on it.
Dude, I saw hats like that at Spirit, and they were like $20. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yes, I adore this hat. It's my new favorite Halloween hat.
It's awesome.
So, yes. Are we ready for the second part of our
Yes,
little
I will let you take the lead because
TT?
I don't have anything open. I only have things that I've copied down. So I'm gonna let you go first, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. So this part of it, Rebecca and I have decided that we are going to tell scary stories. We want to tell you guys some scary stories.
Yes.
So most of my scary stories, I will just say it, I got them off of Reddit, or I'm going to get them off of Reddit because, honestly, like Reddit and Graveyard Shift has the scariest damn stories.
Yes.
And if you want to have trouble sleeping, yeah, this is the way to go. They are great, let me tell you. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to move my lights around a little bit so that way it's not so dark. That's a little better. Okay, so this one is called Why We Take the Heads Off Mannequins at Night.
What?
Yes. So it starts out, my name is Sarah, and I rent out a store in a local mall selling women's clothing. I have owned the store for 5 years. I feel very fortunate that I can run a successful business. There is this one thing, though, that keeps me up at night. It seeps into my nightmares till I wake in a cold sweat. Every night after closing, myself and the rest of the staff do our daily routine of removing the heads off the mannequins. If we do not remove their heads, disturbing things can happen.
Like what?
I don't know yet. When I bought the store, the previous owner left a room full of mannequins. Being I owned a clothing store, I cleaned them up a bit and propped them up throughout the store to display my clothes. There are about 20 mannequins throughout the store that must be accounted for. No one may leave for the night without the heads counted and locked in their respective lockers. We have lost several staff members over the years by not following protocol with the mannequins. Myself and the rest of the team respect the rules and follow them closely, knowing the grave dangers that present themselves if broken. Ooh, I like this story.
Like freaking out.
Last October, our newest staff member did not follow the store protocols. Justin was a 22-year-old college dropout, looking for any work he could get his hands on to pay off his bills. Justin was cocky. He didn't connect well with the customers. He would take long cigarette breaks, do a lazy job of folding the clothing, and most importantly, he didn't take the rules seriously. Justin watched us each night, his first 2 weeks on the job, how each person would behead their assigned mannequin. The black, shiny plastic mannequins were posed in various ways to display our hottest items. As the store would wind down for the night, I'd swear you catch movement in the corner of your eyes, like one of them were moving. While normal stores leave their mannequins as is, it is crucial we behead them each night. So Justin watched from the sidelines those first couple weeks as we removed the mannequins' heads and locked them in their lockers. Justin appeared bored, disinterested with the entire protocol, scrolling away on his phone while the rest of the team secured the store. When the 2 weeks came up, Justin was assigned his very own 6 mannequins that he needed to address each night he worked. Well, the problem started almost immediately. I am a key holder, so I open the store most of the days. I have put many long hours after closing each night counting the mannequins, confirming they are all locked up. I have now given that responsibility up to the rest of the trusted staff, that is, excluding Justin. I headed to the store about 8 a.m. when I saw her standing beyond the glass. A
Ooh.
tall, naked, womanly mannequin with exaggerated curves
No.
was standing in the middle of the main aisle. I felt my stomach drop inside me as she stood posed, her arm waving casually and the other planted on her hip, her back arched like she was a ballerina. I shakily unlocked the store, looking around toward the other mannequins who were neatly in place on their elevated stands, all without heads, except the one standing before me, posed like a dancer, her bald, glossy head facing me. Despite being devoid of facial expressions, I could sense some emotion from them and anger almost. I could sense some emotion from them and anger almost. I cautiously approached the mannequin, feeling the air grow quiet around me, like a predator was stalking me from a distance. The pressure rose in my head as I reached toward her own bald head. My head wrapped around her cold head and I twisted. I twisted her head slightly, squeaking as I pulled it off with a pop. Her head came off and the mannequin fell over, her body crashing, echoing through the empty store as it sent a shiver up my spine. I raced toward my desk and
What?
text. I raced toward my desk and texted the group chat, asking who closed last night. Everyone answered except Justin. Amanda and Eric confirmed they closed with Justin. All but one confirmed their mannequins were locked up. Again, Justin remained quiet. I called a staff meeting that afternoon, drilling the importance of locking up the mannequins. Justin just hung in the back, yawning as I spoke. Those upcoming weeks, that eerie feeling hung in the store, almost like they were watching us. They seemed to change their positions even without anyone moving them. I stayed back each night, triple checking that they were all locked up. Well, one night, when I wasn't able to stay back and Amanda, and Eric were tasked with closing, that feeling of dread was washing over me on my drive home. I cursed myself that evening, screaming in my head for them not to forget, for Justin to be such a fuck up and do what he was told. At about 2 a.m., an alert buzzed on my phone. The security system for the store was going off. My phone
What?
flashed security breach, front door open. I rubbed the sleep from my eyes as the alert continued. I opened my security camera app to the store, clicking through each camera until I got to the one facing the door. She was standing there again, like a posing ballerina, her naked black plastic skin, that blank face aimed toward the camera. A body lay before her, but it was no mannequin. Clothed fuller, it was a male, face first on the floor. I frantically texted into the group chat, but no one responded. I grabbed the keys and raced toward the mall. A mall in the middle of the night is an eerie place to find yourself. Not a light to be seen. The empty stores, lined with their pulled down chain fences. I carefully walked to the main floor towards my store, my feet echoing on the tile. I could hear the faint alarm going off as I drew closer. That dry lump in my throat was forming. As I approached the store, seeing the main doors wide open, I knew something wasn't right. She was standing in the main aisle again, posed in, insu- posed in such an eccentric manner, her blank face looking straight at me. A body lay before her in one of the store uniforms. I could see barely in the dark, my phone flashlight barely letting up enough space to see. I shone the light on the body, seeing the ruffled blonde hair of Justin. A pool of blood was around his head, his arm tied behind his back. The mannequin stood over him like a fierce hunter claiming his kill. I switched the security alarm off on my phone, standing in the darkness with the mannequin, her army of headless soldiers frozen around her. There was nothing I could do at this point. Justin would have to stay there till morning. If I were to step one foot in the store with her head securely armed, I would end up like Justin.
What?
I stayed out in front of the store. Yeah. I stayed out front of the store for the remainder of the night watching her. The rest of the mannequins seemed to move, but I would only catch a split-second glimpse before they were frozen again. As the sun rose, the pool of blood around Justin's lifeless body grew larger. I called the authorities. I called the rest of the staff in. We watched as they wheeled Justin's beaten, bloody, and bound body out of the store. Amanda and Eric hung back nervously, swearing they saw Justin leave when they did. It was a grim reminder for all of us. Never leave the store without removing their heads.
I'm assuming this is a fiction story. Tristan,
Of course, yes.
You look creepy AF right now. Can I just say that? Like, I feel like...
I like it. I look scary.
You look so creepy. Oh my gosh, you look even worse. Okay. You're freaking me out, man. Listen.
What a good story, huh?
It was a good story. I don't necessarily like, though, when fiction deviates from reality, because I feel like you would call the police at some point.
Of course, yes. I just thought it was a good, like, spooky Halloween story that we could just, like...
Dude, it's really good. I like it. I don't like mannequins. They really freak me out. And then...
Me too. That's why I picked it.
And then I think of the movie Mannequin, which has always been so weird to me, but... I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I don't, I have never seen that movie, actually, but I was thinking of I Am Legend, where he, like, goes and that mannequin is in the middle of the street and he's like, no!
I've never seen that movie.
I love that part. You've never seen I Am Legend? Oh my
No.
god, that's such a good movie.
I'm a lame-o. Alright. So I have more of, like, true stories, I guess, or I don't know that they're true, but people think that they're true, so I'm gonna say the first one.
Oh, okay, that's the direction we were going in. I didn't know, so I just looked up all kinds of scary stories.
Dude, I found so many stories that I thought were good, like on Reddit, but they were so long, and I'm like, I don't know how long I should make them. So it's fine that you did those, because I'm okay with that, because, listen, I had the thought, we talked about it before, of the story in, God, now I can't remember what it's called, the stories to... The scary
stories to tell in the dark.
Yes. And
I love that.
We talked about the one with the girl with the ribbon around her neck, which for some reason like has haunted me for like years, even though it's not a real story. But if nobody's heard that story, I suggest you read it, because it is a kid's story, but it doesn't seem like a kid's story, honestly. It's very, very creepy.
No, those books were actually banned in school. The kids can't read those books anymore.
Dude, I have that book. And I love it.
That's very awesome.
I actually haven't read it in years and years and years, but... Yeah, that story particular... It's the only one I remember out of the whole book. And I'm sure I read the whole book. I just only remember that, I think it's called The Green Ribbon. And,
yes, it is.
A loose synopsis of it is there's this girl who always wears a green ribbon around her neck. And she eventually meets a boy, and they fall in love, and they get married. and they live their whole life together, but he can never figure out why she always has a ribbon around her neck. She never takes it off. And then they're very old, and she says, "You can take the ribbon off my neck now." And he takes the ribbon off, and of course her head falls off onto the floor. And
yes, it's a very good story.
It's actually quite shocking that they would make that for children. Like, that's all I'm gonna say.
That's why it's banned.
It's quite shocking. So, now I'm gonna tell you a story. This is from a Reddit user called 2abstract788, and this is a story that he claims is true, and it goes a little like this. So, I was late night gaming. My dog was hanging out with me and started to bark into the dark bedroom. When I went to check it out, this is actually freaks me out. Okay. I could hear fingernails scratching inside of my bedroom closet. As I got closer, the scratching got quieter. The sound stopped when I was right in front of the closet. Crash! Stuff started hitting the inside of the closet door. I ran straight outside. No way was I going to stay in there alone this time. So 30 minutes go by, and my buddy comes over to check things out with me. I open the closet door, and I find all my clothes and hangers all over the floor of the closet. And he says, we searched every wall and ceiling for any secret openings, obviously thinking that somebody had gotten into his closet somehow. But they never found anything. And I actually hate stories like this because he didn't say, like, if it ever happened again or not. Like,
I like it, though. That's creepy.
Dude, that would freak me out. I'd be like, what?
Freaks me out, too, man.
I hate closets. They really freak me out. I don't know why. I've always hated closets.
Me too. You know, in my old house where I had the basement, we didn't have a closet in there, which I was pretty grateful for because it was creepy as shit anyway.
Yeah, you were in a basement, man.
So.
Maybe at the end of this, I will.
I don't know. I like it though, but that was the whole thing.
Yeah, it was really short.
He doesn't say.
Yes.
He doesn't say anything else about it. How scary.
Yeah, that's what's weird. Like, did it come out and get him one time, or like, what's going on? Like, I was gonna say that maybe at the end of this, I will tell my one spooky experience that I had.
Okay.
I think tonight's the night.
I've had quite a few spooky experiences. Just the one that I've told before.
Yes.
About the lady at the corner of the property, but when you remember when Mom and Dad used to own that janitorial business,
Really Clean.
huh?
Yeah. It was called Really Clean.
Yeah. And I remember I was on punishment a lot, so I had to go help them in the middle of the night to go clean the courthouse.
Yes.
And that was my punishment because I was grounded.
Yeah.
And I would have to go clean the one bathrooms in there.
Yeah.
Which is actually now part of the sheriff's station because the sheriff's station didn't used to be there.
Right.
But now it is. But it used to be where the sheriff's station. And I would have to go clean them by myself. And it was so freaking creepy in there. And the office is back there. Like, literally, I'd have to, like, empty the trashes and, like, vacuum and shit.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I guarantee you it.
And it was so spooky back there. And, like, I'd be, like, in the offices emptying trash cans. And I would feel like somebody was watching me and the hairs on my neck would stand up.
Yes.
And I'd be so creeped out that I wouldn't even vacuum. I would just, like, pretend that I vacuumed.
You're like, I'm done.
Because I was so fucking scared. I was so scared, man. It was so freaking creepy. Oh my gosh.
Dude, it's weird that...
I hated that place.
Dude, it's weird that you'd bring that up because I often think of when they owned that business and they cleaned. And I think of the courthouse But then I also think of the library, which let me tell you that I love books. I love the smell of books. I love the way books feel. I love everything about a book. The library was, and I think it was, I don't know if it was that library, but it was one of the creepiest places I've ever like had to like be in my entire life. Like, and they didn't clean it very often. I think I only went with them like maybe 2 or 3 times to clean it, but it was so spooky. I don't know what, like nothing even ever happened there, but it was just so creepy feeling, like so
Okay, so
creepy.
is it where the library is now, or was it the old library?
It was the newer library, not the old one
Okay,
that's
so
over at the like where the how it's all weird to get in there with
the
like the coldest or the roundabouts and stuff.
the eye is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that new library right there, do you know that is built right next to a cemetery, right?
Yes, the Tonopah or something, isn't it? Is it called the Tonopah
There, that's a
Cemetery?
cemetery right there. Yeah,
Yes, that's why it's so creepy, probably.
right. There probably was ghosties there. You just never saw them.
Creepy.
Which honestly, I could not think of nothing better than being in a library at night
Dude.
when there's nobody else there. But that would scare me.
It was like
I would say that would have to scare me.
it was like one of those things where yes, it was cool, but it was way too creepy. Like I don't know what it was. Tristan, I have been in so many cemeteries, like more cemeteries than you probably could ever imagine, because first of all, we geocache, and people in Colorado, there is like a whole series of caches called Colorado Spirit Quests, and they are literally geocaches in cemeteries or on boundaries of cemeteries. So we used to do it a lot, and we've been to dozens and dozens of cemeteries. I have never gotten a weird or creepy feeling in a cemetery. I don't know why, I just haven't. Like I always feel like overwhelming peacefulness and
I was gonna say they're very peaceful.
sometimes sadness, mostly I think that's like leftover emotions from like funerals and things like that. But and then if you walk around, especially in old like west cemeteries, of course we're in Colorado, there's a lot of cemeteries that are extremely old, and there's a lot of kids buried there, and it that really like makes me sad, you know. But
Right.
I've never been like terrified of being in a cemetery before. Like I've never gotten like weird feelings or anything like that. Like so I don't know why that library being next to a cemetery would be, you know, creepy, but it was. I don't know. It was very, very creepy. Like
Oh no, I know. I don't even like driving by there, okay?
it's creepy. I don't know what it is. Like
That's pretty bad. Okay, so I have a shorter one. Um, this one's called Megan. That's what the story's called. And it's one of the fake ones that somebody wrote. Um, it says the drive through town downtown felt surreal. The station wagon seemed to move in slow motion, crawling through the rain. It had been over a year since the funeral. Megan looked so small in that big coffin. Never mind, I'm not going to read this one because it's going to make me sad, not scary.
thank you.
I'm
I was like, what?
not going to
No.
read that one. Yeah, I'm not going to read that one because it'll make me sad. I didn't read the whole thing. Um, I'll try to find a different one. Okay, this one is called The Uncle That Lives in the Shed. And I think this is a more,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I think this is a more like a true story type thing. It's a ghost story.
Yeah.
So it says I was on my way to skip school for the usual bike ride to a buddy's house that lived down the road. I had to stash my bike on the back side of a tool shed because I didn't want my parents to see my bike in the front yard and figure me out. I've already done this a few times, but As I was stashing my bike, something caught my eye through the empty wooden window frame of the tool shed. It was still morning outside, so it was a little dark, but as I looked into the pitch black tool shed, I see a mangled human silhouette looking back at me,
What?
blacker than the already pitch black in the tool shed.
Oh my
I
god.
looked back at it and thought it was my friend trying to play a trick on me. I called out, saying Levi, Chris, Matt, my friend, and his two brothers' names. I heard no reply from it, but as I stared at it, I could see it had a significant trauma to the head and was standing in a weird way. I got a little
What?
creeped I got a little creeped out and went inside the house where I found Levi, Matt, and Chris. The first thing I said was, "Who is in the shed?" In which Levi replied to me, "My uncle. He hung himself there a couple years ago." I was a little creeped out, but said fuck it and proceeded to smoke pot all day in the shed with Levi, Matt, and Chris and their uncle.
Yes. What? Dude, that is like. Okay, we're gonna go over there in a minute. Oh, we're watching dogs across the way, so we have to take care of them soon. Dobby and H are their names.
I tell how they look like.
He's like, tell them what they look like. So we're babysitting these people's dogs. Dobby looks like a he's like a pit bull with mixed with something, and he's all gray, but his ears look exactly like Dobby from Harry Potter.
Oh,
He's so cute. And then he's a puppy. And then he's like this little tiny dog. I'm not even sure what he is, but I figured out that he looks exactly like Master Splinter with the fuzzy hair and like the ear. Like, I don't even know what it is. He looks just like Splinter. And they're so cute.
how funny.
Um, how many more stories do you have, Tristan?
Huh?
How many more stories do you think you have?
Oh, I didn't. I'm just choosing
Oh,
them
you're
at
just
random.
choosing.
I
Okay.
don't have a specific amount.
So I'm gonna go now, and again, this is a true-ish story. I don't know, but whatever. And these are all shorter, and I don't know if it's because they're true or not. I don't know, but so I have memories as a young child in a certain house. Several very bizarre things happened. I have no logical explanation for them. The best I can do is explain them logically are hallucinations, but I've never experienced anything away from that home. The oddest one to me had to do with my new wallpaper. We had just changed it. It had dinosaurs on it. I would see the dinosaurs marching around, killing each other. This happened during the same times, several nights until we took it down. So apparently items used to move and get thrown on their own. A particular favorite was a rocking chair. It would change positions and rock. One night, when my grandparents were staying over, I awoke to find someone I didn't know in the chair who looked strange. A stuffed animal walked one time. So this story is very weird because it's like disjointed. It's like all over the place. But apparently they're saying that the stuffed animal walked one time. I woke with scratches that looked like nails. Maybe it was just my child brain, but I don't remember it that way. The scratches are really strange. It's weird because I thought this was one that I read about a rocking horse, and it was like, it went something like, I was lying in bed, and my whole room was the top floor, like the attic of the house. So it was like the footprint of the house, like upstairs, you know. And
Right.
I woke up in the middle of the night to hear my rocking horse in the corner creaking like somebody was on it. And then they're like, all of a sudden it seemed like it was moving across the floor. And he's like, and they're like, I just dove under my blankets and tried to pretend it wasn't there. And then they're like, in the morning I had further validation by the fact that the rocking horse was in the middle of my bedroom instead of in the corner like it was. And also they're like, when I went downstairs, my parents were really mad at me for being up in the middle of the night playing with my toys because they could hear the rocking horse scraping across the floor. I thought that's the one that I that was, but that's hilarious.
That is creepy.
The rocking horse really freaks me out.
I don't like that at all.
It's hilarious.
I didn't like that. I wanted some dick parents, man.
Like what? Why would you?
They're all just pissed off.
I feel like, why would my parents come and yell at me for playing with toys in the middle of the night? Like,
dude, if it was our parents, they would have busted in the damn door and beat our asses.
They'd be like, shut up. And then they would ground us for 6 months because.
Or 6 years,
Yeah.
whatever they felt like at the time.
They're like, whatever's long enough. Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That one is creepy though.
Dude, it is creepy. It's
But I found one from a long time ago. I mean, it's not older than us, but it is a while.
Thanks.
And this is an actual experience. So, it's called Ghost in the Dining Room. It says, I was a teenager in 1989. A friend came over and we played a generic Milton Bradley produced Ouija board. Never, ever, ever do this.
Don't use a Ouija board. They're evil.
That's another PSA right there. Don't ever do it.
Don't do it.
Through a series of questions, we ascertained that there was a ghost of a 4-year-old girl in the dining room of the house where I grew up.
What?
Yeah, I chalked it up as my subconscious moving the planchette. I did not tell anybody about what we did because to me, it wasn't a big deal. It's a very big deal. Don't ever fucking do that.
No. There's...
A few years later... What?
I was going to say, people don't realize that there are steps that you actually have to take when you're using a Ouija board to make sure that you close it properly when you're done with it.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good thing to do. Do not. It's not something to play with. They make it a game, but it is not a game.
It's not a
You
game.
open a door and it's not a game. You open a door that you will not know how to close.
That's true.
So, it's an awful thing. So a few years later, in 1993, I had a cousin visit from overseas. We took a family picture in the living room with the dining room in the background. After my cousin returned home, she called my mother to tell her that her friend, who allegedly has abilities, told her that she was able to sense something through the picture. That there was a ghost of a small girl that she would pray from, and that she would pray from her part of the world to release her. I'm very a matter-of-fact person, and my mother is the last person I would tell about the Ouija board incident, but the coincidence is just too strong, and until this day is unexplained. I have never seen the picture my cousin has referenced.
What? I'd have to see it, honestly. I would have to.
I know, that's creepy.
Show me
Don't
that.
ever do that. Serious.
Well, I mean, if you do, you've been warned.
That is some serious shit you do not want to mess with.
Listen, it's hilarious that Sarah, who, of course, you know Sarah, but she was my best friend. Like, she's notoriously one of my best friends. But I think we were probably 15. And we were at her house, and we were bored. And we decided to do a Ouija board, but she didn't have a Ouija board. So we made our own Ouija board. And it's funny because Tristan, it was literally made out of like notebook paper. And like it had like the alphabet on it, and it said like yes or no. And then like it was so, and then we had like one single like candle burning. Nothing happened, and I've actually been secretly glad for like my entire life that nothing ever happened. But like I don't even know what we were thinking. Like, but it was so lame.
Like I don't even like to watch movies that use Ouija boards or shows that use Ouija boards. I actually if there's like a ghost hunting crew, you know, like that make documentaries,
yeah.
if they use a Ouija board, I shut it off immediately and I do not watch them again. Because to me, that is something that you should never, ever mess with.
No,
You don't know literally what in the hell you are bringing.
It's funny because I have never heard of good things coming out of Ouija boards. It's like, they're
neither.
always horror stories. And it's funny because, like, 80% of Ouija board stories I hear, they involve demons. And they involve the specific demon Zozo. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But I just got the chills because it like freaks me out. Like demons are not welcome here. So I don't even like talking about it though, because I feel like when you talk about things like that, like you're putting it out into the universe now that you are talking about demons. But I know I'm safe because Jesus, this is the house of Jesus.
Jesus.
So I'm good.
Yes, it is.
But those are always the stories I hear from Ouija boards. So
don't do it, man.
Really don't.
Do it.
I'm like begging you, don't do it. But if you do and something happens to you, you should tell me so that I know.
You should email us.
Yeah. Totes, man.
Or that if you've already made the mistake and have done that and something has happened, then we want to know
let
about
us
it.
know about that because I'm interested about that.
We'll just make us a whole public service announcement episode on our ParaSisters podcast.
Do not use
about the dangers of using a Ouija board.
You literally never know what can happen. So, all right.
It's awful. Those things are awful.
I really only have one more story, and you may have heard this story because this is an actual true story. It is mysterious, it is strange, and I will put the link into the video because there's a video that goes along with this, and I encourage every single person that listens to the story to go and watch that video because I've actually watched this video a long time ago when I first heard about this girl because I'm completely intrigued by what happened to this person. And her name is Elisa Lam. And Elisa Lam is, or was, a girl whose parents were from Hong Kong. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think that she was vacationing in Los Angeles. So in January, it was January 31st, New Year's Eve, 2013, Elisa Lam was last seen in the lobby of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. And she was vacationing through the West Coast, documenting her trip on her blog. And so she was pretty notorious for calling her parents like every single day of her trip. And she was actually from Hong Kong, now that I'm thinking of it. She was a foreigner in California. So she's blogging, she's calling her parents every day. Well, on January 31st, the calls had mysteriously stopped. She wasn't calling her parents anymore. She vanished off the face of the earth practically. So soon, of course, the police got involved because she is a foreigner who's there on a visa and nobody can find her. Her parents haven't talked to her. Nobody has seen her. In February, LAPD released this surveillance footage of Elisa Lam before her disappearance, and this is surveillance footage from the hotel. And like I said, I'm gonna have the link, but I will do a brief description. In the video, she looks like she's running from something or someone. There is video of her like in the hallway, and then there's video of her like getting into an elevator, and then she's like looking like around. I'm getting chills just talking about it because I'm remembering the video. She's like looking around the corner of the elevator like she's looking for someone, but there is video surveillance of the hallway leading up to the elevator, and there's nobody there. So it shows her like getting in the elevator, looking around the corner, and then she's like crouching down in the corner of the elevator. And then it actually shows video like of the doors opening and closing, and her like continuously like looking out into the hallway. Like, it's very strange, it's very weird. But nobody knows what is going on in the video. There's no sound, of course, because it's surveillance. And it answered no questions at all. So the number one theory that I think most people have are that she had some kind of a weird psychotic episode. Some people say that she was possessed, and other people think that maybe there were like unseen and unknown assailants just out of the view of the camera. Either way, nobody knows exactly what happened, but this says that the content of that video is from YouTube, but there may be other content out there that will obviously be up to you to find, because I don't know. But so around the time that the video is released, hotel guests start reporting weird things happening with the water supply. CNN, back when it was an actual news outlet, reports the shower was awful, says Sabrina Bao, who spent 8 days there during the investigation. When you turned on the tap, the water was coming out black first for 2 seconds or so, and then it would come back normal. Bao said the tap water tasted horrible. It had a very funny, sweety, disgusting taste. It was a very strange taste. I can barely describe it. But for a week, they never complained. We never thought anything of it, she said. We thought it was just the way it was here. You know, water from LA. Who knows? So on the morning of February 19th, a hotel employee climbed to the roof and used a ladder to investigate the hotel's water storage tank. And that's where authorities found the decomposing, naked body of Elisa Lam, whose personal items were actually found nearby. And of course, they did an autopsy, and her death was labeled an accident. But NBC Los Angeles reported at the time that strange circumstances in the hotel's past may have, I don't know if it contributed or what, but the tank that she was in has a metal latch that can be opened, but authorities say that the access to the roof is secured with an alarm and a lock. The single room occupancy hotel has an unusual history, including the Night Stalker, whose name is Richard Ramirez, and he was found guilty of slaying 14 people in the 1980s, and he lived on the 14th floor for several months in 1985. And apparently the international serial killer Jack Unterweger is suspected of murdering 3 prostitutes during the time he lived there in 1991. And he actually killed himself in jail in 1994. In 1962, a female occupant of the hotel jumped out of one of the hotel windows, killing herself and a pedestrian on whom she landed. So this hotel is strange, and even to this day, nobody knows why.
Yes. And
yes,
I have watched this video that you speak of, and it is creepy as shit, man.
yeah, that's why I added it.
It's an awful video.
It
is
is
scary,
insane.
and
yes,
the cops actually say, or some people actually say that she could have opened the hatch to get into the water tank, but she could not have closed it, and it was closed when
right.
they,
It
when
was
they went
latched.
up to investigate.
Right, it was latched. It was not open. So, sorry, I'm hearing weird noises behind me. It's Sandra. I'm like, oh shit, something's throwing me at a water tank. Seriously. Yeah, so that's why I included this story, and it's my last story because it really freaks me out. It freaked me out when I first saw it and read it. It freaks me out now, and like I said, I truly encourage people to go and watch this video because it is scary. It's not like a monster jumping out of a closet. It is like, what is happening to this girl in the moments. This is like
so scary.
It's right before she dies. So what is happening to her? Like, what's going on? Like, it's so freaking weird. Like, literally.
It is.
Watch
it is weird. I don't like that. I've watched that video multiple times, and every single time I know what's going to happen, and it freaks me out.
It's very creepy. It's creepy because at some point you either expect her to, I don't know, if she's having a psychotic episode, you expect her to go back to normal, I guess, or I don't know, you expect something climatic to happen and nothing ever does. Like, she's on this video and then she's never seen again. Like, it's so strange.
Right, it is.
So
it is strange. What about the, I mean, I don't even know. It's a weird video. It freaks me out.
Yes, it does freak me out. Too. Poor Lisa Lamb.
Yeah, that was a good one to end it with.
I thought so.
That was a good one to end it with, Becca. Jeez.
I saw that on one of the web pages and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna add this. Even though it's not like definite like paranormal or anything, I feel like it could be, and it's spooky. It's a spooky Halloween.
I think it is too. And you know what I have also heard, because I haven't done a ton of research into that, but like I said, I have watched that video, and it has been on some of my paranormal shows that I do watch.
Yes.
That that there is other paranormal like reported happenings there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a pretty famous hotel in Los Angeles, so.
What about that one? I don't know if I could even find it. I think you could probably look it up on YouTube, and I don't know if it's been debunked or not, but about the security guard who gets a call. He's in a hotel and he gets the call from the room next door about somebody screaming in the room next to them.
Dude.
Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And you can see the security guard. He goes up to the room. It's on the surveillance video. And he bangs on the door, right? And nobody answers.
Yeah.
But he can hear shit in the room, like shuffling around.
Yes.
And chairs. Yeah. And then he keys the door with his key. And the room is pitch black, but you can see on the surveillance video that something leaves the room.
Yes, I have seen that.
Oh my gosh, that video freaks me.
I just got the chills, man.
That video freaks me out. I know, me too. It freaks me out every time.
Ooh, creepy.
I know, it's so good. It's such a good video, though. I don't know if it's been debunked or not. I haven't read up anything on it.
Yeah.
But it is such a good video. It reminded me, of a haunted hotel, you know?
Yes. Dude, sometimes hotels can be really creepy, I think. Super creepy.
Yeah, well, you live not close, necessarily, but you live near a very haunted hotel.
Yeah, there was a huge fire up there. I don't know if you heard that. It's really sad. But, I really want to go to the Stanley Hotel. I feel like that has to be one of our stops on our pilgrimage across the Of course, we've done the
United States looking for scary shit.
yes. Of course, we've done the Croak Patterson, which is also now a hotel. It wasn't originally, but it's also very spooky. There's other ones that I'm not going to mention because I actually am going to do some episodes on them. So let me keep those under my cap. Do you have any more?
Baby Sassy? No.
Is it over? Is it over?
That's what he said.
Is it over?
Is it over?
Is it over?
I don't have any that because I told you I was just picking them at random.
Yeah.
Like I was just going to the website and picking them at random. So if you wanted to end it, that would be okay with me.
So we will end this because I think we've been doing this for like 2 hours now. But I will tell you before we go my creepy story. So
yes,
I'm going to preface this by saying that only you will have relevance to this, Tristan. But do you remember the house on Jacaranda that we lived in? You and Dustin stayed there only briefly, but Jacob and Mom and Dad and I lived there for like a year or something like that. So that house...
I remember.
And this isn't the actual story, but I just want you to know that that house... Do you remember like the hallway? It wasn't a long hallway, but it had like my bedroom on the right, and then Jacob's was at the end of the hallway, and then like the bathroom was on the left side of the hallway. So whenever I would walk down that hallway towards Jacob's bedroom, and this is the best way I could describe this, and older people will know what I'm talking about, but younger people really won't. You know an old school tube TV when you turn it on and it makes that static feeling? Like, so when I would walk down that hallway, I would get like a static feeling on the back of my neck. And it always freaked me out because I felt like there was something behind me, like always. But I never, ever saw anything. So I guess I'm a little more sensitive. I don't know. But when I was in Michigan with John and Brenda, they lived in an old mansion that had been like sectioned off into apartments. And so it was like, if I could describe it, so it was a big porch. You go in the door, like the front door. It was the only door to the house. And you walk into like a kitchen, and it was like an open kitchen. And then there was like a doorway, but no door, just a doorway out into like the living room. And so the sink and the stove were on the back wall, like the wall of the kitchen. And then if you're standing at the sink, your back is to the living room. Well, John and Brenda used to work nights at Walmart. And when I was in there, like, doing dishes or cleaning up, I would have, like, the freakiest... like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it because I remember exactly, like, how scary it was. But, again, nothing happened. And I stayed with them for, like 3 or 4 months. Like, it wasn't very long, but I stayed there with them. So one night, they go to work, and I decide that I'm going to take a shower. So you have the kitchen, you have the living room, and then you have a hallway where kind of like at the beginning of the hallway is the room that I stayed in, but it was like, it had a wall around it, but it didn't go all the way to the ceiling. Like, obviously they added a wall to close off a section to make a bedroom. And then if you continue down the hallway, there was a door on the left, and the bathroom was directly across from the door. It was like a closet door. And then at the very end was Dad or John and Brenda's bedroom, you know. Now, this was an extremely old house. It was probably from the early 1900s, maybe even like late 1800s. Like, it was really old. So it had that nice, like, woodwork above the doors, you know? Like, they were nice. It was nice. It was beautiful. So I go and I take a shower. And I get out of the shower. I open the bathroom door because even though I'm alone, I still close the bathroom door. And the closet door directly from the bathroom door is standing wide open. Now
No.
this wouldn't be so bad, but it was like a storage closet. Nobody ever went in there because like they kept like suitcases in there. It wasn't like a clothes closet where they would go in there and get their clothes, you know. But it was standing wide open, and I'm not even joking. Like, I came out of the bathroom and I saw it, and I'm just like, I'm like a deer in headlights. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, I was terrified. But I had, like, the wherewithal to, like...
Yeah.
But I had, like, the wherewithal to, like, stop. And I, like, looked around, of course. I come out of the bathroom, I close the closet door, and then Tristan, I proceed for probably 5 minutes or more to check if there's any possible way that this door could have come open by itself. Now, at this point, I'd probably been staying there for like a month or two, so I'd never seen the door open ever, really. Like, I think I put my bags in there when I unpacked all my stuff, and that was pretty much it. So I closed the door. I like jiggled the door to make sure that it wasn't like, you know, gonna just come open by itself. I left the door partially open to see if it would like swing open. Like the house was not level, so the door would kind of like swing open, you know. And
Right.
so none of that produced the results of the door being wide open. And I have to tell you that I've never been so afraid of anything in my entire life like that, because I've been afraid of other things.
Oh, I agree.
But never that. And yeah, so I literally called Mom on the phone because like I was so afraid, and I'm like telling her what's happened, and she's like, "Oh, it's probably nothing," and I'm like, I don't think it was nothing. Like, especially with the feeling that I always got in the kitchen, like somebody was watching me or something, like, and then to have that door open, like, I was never more happy in my entire life than when I left that place. Like, seriously, I was so scared.
Holy crap, Becca.
I was so
That was scary.
Yes, imagine me. I was like 18 and I was by myself at night because that's when John and Brenda worked, was at night. So like I literally then stayed up all night long until they got home from work every single night because there's no way I could ever have slept any other way. Like yeah. So
That is scary as shit.
that's my story. That's the only thing that's
Oh
ever
my gosh.
happened to me, but yeah. But yeah.
Oh. That was a scary story. I like it.
And it's funny because, like, I am half scientific minded at least. So I feel like when I open the door and the door's open, I'm like, there has to be some logical explanation to this. And even still, I cannot explain why that door was open the way it was. Like, I just can't do it. So.
That is scary. I gotta turn my light back on now. I have to turn my light back on.
You notice Andrew dimmed the light. He saw us telling us scary stories.
Freaked out.
Dude, I will say one more thing.
Man.
You remember that house that we used to live on, Reed Street, the duplex? You remember our bedroom, how the attic access was in the closet? I used to be convinced, Tristan, that there was an old lady that lived up there, and that at night when we'd go to sleep, she would come out and try to, I don't know, do what to us, but do something to us. And I don't know.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead.
I was going to say,
ahead.
you probably didn't know, but I refused to sleep with my back to that closet ever, like, because I was that afraid of it. Like,
Okay, so the house on Reed Street, really freaked me out. I remember thinking as a kid that it was haunted or cursed or something.
Yes.
Honestly, like that house always freaked me out, man.
Yes. It's a very scary house. I don't know why.
I don't ever remember anything specific happening there, but it was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know why I was convinced that something was in the attic, but I was.
Yeah, it was somebody living in the attic trying to hurt us while we're sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's crazy.
Happy Halloween!
Yes, happy Halloween. I have a question for you. Did your mic move?
Yes. And Andrew was trying to light me on fire. Yeah, Andrew came and dimmed the light and then moved the microphone.
Okay, because like I didn't see him. I just saw the mic like moving.
You're
so
like,
then I was like, while you were telling your story, I was like,
that would be awesome.
I was so freaked out. Like that made the story creepier because you're like in the middle of your story and the mic is moving like closer to the camera and I'm like, what is going on?
I should have said no. What are you talking about? We don't fake anything here. No.
Dude, I'm telling you, and I can't find the video. I'll have to look through all of our videos again of our previous cases.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, on one of our cases, it was a particularly spooky one. Which they're all pretty spooky, but this one was particularly spooky. Behind you, and I'm guessing it would be your left side, right? Where your TV is?
Yeah.
Your TV is on your left side?
Yeah.
There is a freaking face. I remember seeing it while we were recording, and I just figured that it was the TV, that the curtain was pulled a little bit, and it was the TV. I gotta find the video because there was literally a face, a friendly looking face. It was kind of spooky.
I'm gonna choose to ignore that you said that until we talk about it in the daytime. So,
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget that you said that right now. I'm washing my brain of that because I have to go to sleep later. So.
Is it sour?
Just a little bit, kind of.
I'm very sour. What are you talking about a little bit?
Well, I mean, my Sour Patch Kids were so much sour than that, so they're kind of sour to me.
Oh, a sour gummy worm.
Yummy.
He's pretty dang sour.
Well.
Yes, what a good Halloween special. And if you guys like it, we're going to post it on YouTube.
Yeah, I've recorded the whole thing, so.
Yeah, because we didn't know that on YouTube you have to activate your live account 24 hours before you do a live show.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
So.
Come on, YouTube. Like, you should let people know about that.
Right.
Yeah, we're like literally like
So
20 minutes from recording, and I'm like, oh, 24 hours, what? Yeah. So it'll be up there. The video will be up there. You guys comment. Leave your own ghost stories because I'm very interested to see that. I'm going to leave a link to that video of Elisa Lamb. Maybe I'll try to find that one of the security guard too because that really is kind of spooky to me. So
it is very spooky, yes.
Yeah. So I'll try to find that.
Just a disclaimer on my part, I did get all of my scary stories from Reddit. Also, most of my history of After Halloween Comes to America did come from an article written by the History Channel. I just want to put that out there. I also want to say that our videos, guys, are done for entertainment. They're not done for scientific purposes.
That's true.
Or do we claim to be experts in any sort in any of these fields that we talk about?
I'm an expert.
We are not experts. We do this for entertainment purposes, to entertain ourselves and to entertain you guys.
That's right. And I was going to say I'm an expert at bitch slapping people, but we are not paranormal experts by any stretch of the imagination. I will like to become one though, so we need more followers and views, so do that. Like
yes,
us.
we really just Yes, we really just like to do this. We love the paranormal world. We love everything spooky and frightening, and we act like big sissies, but we love it anyway.
Dude, I'm the biggest chicken in the world. If you've watched any of our videos, you know that I am a chicken. I will not have a paranormal encounter by myself, and I refuse to. So, yes, our goal is to get lots of viewers, subscribers. Maybe we'll start a Patreon page someday to raise money to go on our epic cross-country journey to all the spooky
Yes.
places of the country.
Yes.
But in order for us to do that, you guys need to please, please, please like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Follow all of our links. We have all of them always in our videos. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're sharing us is the most important thing. And I think our Halloween is almost done. We are nearing midnight where I'm at, Tristan, which kind of spooks me out a little bit. This is literally the thinnest veil right now. So, we got Halloween.
Yes, it is.
I actually wanted to bring up, because I wanted to talk about werewolves, but I thought that it would be like overreaching a little bit. But there was a blue moon tonight, Halloween. There's not going to be another one for 19 years. And hopefully
which is awesome.
Yes, hopefully we're doing this again in 19 years, honestly. And hopefully next year when we do this, we will have more viewers. So that's my goal. So make sure you do all those things.
Yes. Yes, and you can follow us on Facebook at Rebecca Tristan. Our Instagram is OccultusSoroibus. Our Twitter is OccultusSoroibus. And our Gmail account is OccultusSoroibus@gmail.com. Please email us all your spooky stories. Our goal is to start a listener tale type thing.
Yes.
Where we will tell your guys' spooky stories. And hopefully, if we get enough of them, eventually we'll get to all of them. So, but we do want to tell your guys' spooky stories because I don't think there's anything better than a first-hand account.
That's true. I agree. And I'm going to end this the way I began it. Here's to you, here's to me, and here's to Halloween.
All right. Happy Halloween.
Hey, we're out there, right? We're going to make that our new slogan. I keep forgetting. We're out there.
In so many ways, you don't even know.
That's true. That is so true. But we're going to be doing this next week, too. We're going to have our regular videos back. And you can catch us on YouTube all the time. And, of course, our podcasts, ParaSisters, anywhere that you find podcasts. So, we're going to end this.
Yes,
guess, right?
everywhere. We're everywhere now.
That's right. That's why we're out there.
Except for Apple.
Oh, shit.
We're not on Apple.
That damn Apple. All right. Well, I got a good buzz on, and I got to go walk some dogs. So, catch y'all on the flip side.
All right. And you all stay creepy. And we'll see you guys next week for our regularly scheduled shows.
That's right. Peace.